All right, we are live with Mathyus Holden, and today we're going to share with you guys how to buy 15 houses, no money out of pocket at age 22. You guys ready to do this?
Let's do it. Let's go.
Let's go.
It's the Tiny and Nate Show. I'm Tiny.
And I'm Nate, here to help you create time and money freedom through real estate investing
so that you can live a life full of impact and joy.
Mathyus Holden, welcome to the Tiny and Nate Show.
What's up, dude?
What is up? How you guys been?
Amazing.
So good.
Good to see you, dude.
Good to see
Been
you.
a while.
Hell yeah, it is. Like
6 months.
7 months.
7 months.
Just about.
Nice.
So dude, you're crushing it. You're 22 years old, and you started your real estate journey maybe back in 2020, something like that. You read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad like the rest of us schmucks did, and your life was changed forever. Is that pretty much it?
You got it right, man. You got it right. Robert Kiyosaki changed my life. You know,
It's
like
should be a t-shirt. I'm sure it's a t-shirt.
Probably.
That's a good idea.
I'm buying it right now.
Yeah, bro.
Now you
Absolutely.
have an e-commerce business on the side too. There you go.
Yes.
Well, I want to jump right in. We could start with tell us what you were like as a kid, but I actually want to jump right in because we've got this headline here: how to buy 15 houses, no money out of pocket, age 22. Tell us about how you came up with that goal. Tell us about how you're executing on it, and then we'll go backwards from there. But let's start with the headline. What's going on, man?
Love it. Yeah. Awesome. So I have been a part of this awesome mentorship called Sub 2, as you guys are also a part of. And that's how we actually met at the mastermind. And that is where I learned how to buy houses with none of my own money. What we do is we look for distressed sellers on online. We use batch leads, and we can find a multitude of pain points, not to bore you with the whole list. From there, we're going to reach out to them. We're going to call them, and I'm going to negotiate with them and find a kind of a place where it makes sense for them. So basically what we'll do is we'll negotiate maybe seller finance or creative financing. We'll buy houses on terms, and by targeting people that have portfolios and are tired landlords, we're able to actually start picking off houses one by one by one. And in my market, Ohio, I mean, it's a general buy and hold state. I mean, that's what people do over here. High rents, right. Low income, low median house value. So it's a great opportunity to get in here and help these guys avoid, big tax bills.
For sure.
Nice.
So when you say portfolios, you're talking about people like tired landlords that own, how many properties do these guys own?
Anywhere, but typically they always own at least 5. Anywhere between 5 and 15 is the average that we get.
Okay. And where are you buying? Cleveland, Cincinnati, Dayton? Where are you buying?
Mainly Cleveland. It's my backyard. I'm about 5-10 minutes from Cleveland. It makes sense for me because the value that I can add is I can go, hey, I'm not rolling with dough. I'm not rolling with dough to come out here and scoop up all these houses. And even if I was, I probably wouldn't use it. So I go and I say, hey, who's got money? I got deals. I negotiate them at 0% interest. On terms. We make sure that we get them the seller a good deal that makes sense. It's a good deal for us. Come invest and be my partner. Get mailbox money. Come on. So they'll come in, they'll bring the money.
Come on.
And then I'll manage the whole project.
So before you go into the tactical, I'm definitely going to be asking about how you're doing it. But here's what I want to know before that. Why are you creating this business and this portfolio of 15 houses, no money out of pocket at age 22? Why are you doing that?
Well, I can give you the basic why. The basic why would be that, have time freedom, enjoy my family, enjoy my wife, get my wife out of her day job. She's gone all day while I do this, and I get to be home with my boys. But it is a grind. I have to be very strategic about how I plan my day and how I allocate time for my kids throughout the day, and also run these multiple businesses. So but my why is them at the end of the day, right? We could get into my purpose. We could break into that.
Yeah, do it. Throw it down.
It's just make the world a better place. Point blank period. And a lot of you're gonna hear a lot of people say that, and I think real estate is actually not only a vehicle, as a lot of people they say they want to use real estate as a vehicle to getting into something else. I see real estate not only as a vehicle to do other greater things, like go build homes in, Haiti and help out with all these different, people that need it, but I can also use real estate to change the world. We can provide jobs. We can make the grass greener, as people would say, right? You can clean up neighborhoods. It can really change, like make a real positive impact on a neighborhood if you can do it the right way. Now, some people are doing it through gentrification. We can do something similar to gentrification without actually running the poor people out of the neighborhood. Right. And that's by creating affordable housing through creative finance.
Okay, so somebody's looking at this little headline we've got down here, no money out of pocket, and they're calling BS.
Oh yeah.
Because Carlton Sheets, people have been selling us CDs online and on TV for a lot of years. And so that line, no money out of pocket, sounds like BS to somebody that's listening to this right now. So talk me through that. Prove me you're not BS.
Okay, well, it is possible to do it out of no money out of pocket. I do spend a little bit of money, right? There's some marketing money that I spend, and there's at some point there have been employees that I've paid hourly. I don't do that anymore because hourly it's going to kill your money. You need to pay off a drive and strive to win. Eat what you kill. That's the only way to do it, I see. But yeah, doing it no money out of pocket. Basically, what I do is I go and I. Let's say we negotiate the deal and there's a $10,000 down payment on seller financing. Okay. I'll go to my buddy Logan. I'll say, hey, Logan, I got this property. It's a $10,000 down payment. We got to pay $3,000 in closing costs. And, I can't pay that. Do you want to be my partner? He'll go, heck yeah. So he'll bring the money to the table. He'll get 50% equity, and I'll actually raise a little bit of extra money. Let's say $20,000. So I can pocket $7,000 and I can have cash now, cash flow, and then eventually cash later when we refinance.
Beautiful. Are you also raising money for rehabs, or are you buying turnkey properties?
Yeah. So raising money for the rehabs, but mostly, they're pretty turnkey. The rehab I just did on the last one was just a paint job. Cost about $2,000 for the labor and the paint, and that was it. Pretty simple.
Yeah. Awesome.
Did the same thing with the flip too.
Say that again.
Did the same thing with a flip, technically.
In terms of similar terms, similar price points, similar rehab budgets. Is that what you're talking about?
Similar, the seller, he financed half the deal. So he said, all right, just give me half of what I want. I think he wanted like 160. We gave him 100. And then I assigned it to my partner, Syed. He's in the comments. And then we partnered on the flip, but I also got paid $5,000 up front.
Nice. I like how you work that. I like how you work that in. So something I'm picking up from this is there's so many more ways to do this than just like the traditional way of doing real estate. And that's what I love about creative finance. That's what I love about Sub 2. And I see you deploying this and going, well, there is no box. I'm just going to make it up that works for me. It makes it worth my time. It makes it worth my partner's time. And it's a win for the seller. I love that you're just like, well, yeah, I'm just going to negotiate it. What are some of the things that you, what are some of the things that you, like, what are those conversations like with the sellers? Like, how do you walk someone through that? Just give us an example of kind of how you break that down, because it can be confusing, right?
That's awesome. So I do third-party stories. Is really as simple as it comes. And I was doing third-party stories before I had third-party stories. I was repping the team before the team existed. You got to fake it till you make it, as they say. So third-party story might be something like, I had this lovely, lovely lady named Barb. We reached out to her. One of my VAs reached out to her and got in contact with her, found out that, her mother was, she had fallen ill, and she had the rights to make decisions for her mom. I can't think what it's called right now. Thank you. Power of attorney, of course. Mm-hmm. And a week later, her mom passed away, and, we just stayed in contact with her and kept having a great conversation with her and letting her know that we were there to would kind of help walk her through the process of probate, because she didn't know what she was doing. And then finally, she's like, okay, hey, I've got rights to the property officially, let's talk. And I was like, well, why don't I come meet you? Why don't I come meet you out there?
Mhm.
And we would meet, and we'd walk the house, and I'm going, well, what's going on with this? She's like, well, the mortgage is $97,000. The property was only worth 110.
Hmm.
And it was probably not even worth that much. Now that we're in it, there's a lot of things that needed fixed. But anyways, and everybody was offering her 93,000, 90,000. Nobody could really come to a price that would have helped her. Nonetheless,
Okay.
she just spent $19,000 on her mom's funeral because her mom did not have life insurance.
Oh no.
Dang.
Yeah.
So she was down. I mean, it was
Wow.
losing your mom, losing a ton of money. That's gonna depress somebody. She told me every night, like, I'm not sleeping. I'm not eating. Like, I'm not happy. This is just terrible. She's like, I don't want to be a landlord. She's like, last time I was a landlord, it broke up my marriage.
Wow.
And she was nervous, right? She was nervous because it was a new concept. And what I told her, I was like, well, what we can do is what we did last week, which, was we took over the person's mortgage payments and we gave them enough cash to help them on their way. I'm like, so what if I gave you
third-party story?
Yeah, what if I gave you $20,000? You got your money back from everything you lost, and we took over these payments, and now the burden's off your shoulders. She's like, well, isn't it a scam? This is a scam. You're going to just take the house and I'm going to get nothing. And then I'm going to get, the bank's going to come after me. And I'm like, no, it's not a scam, and we talked about it, showed her the agreement. I had an amazing transaction coordinator, love Francis, that walked her through anything that she was feeling uneasy on, just to get that extra padded of protection.
Right.
But just really, like, my method is I just explain it very honestly and very openly.
Yeah.
And it's just an open book policy. Like, if they have a question, I'm going to answer it. And I'm going to answer the questions before they even come up. I go, okay, well, I'm like, well, hold on. What if I stop paying? I'm like, what if I decide the house isn't worth it? She's like, that's a good point. What happens if you stop paying the mortgage? She's like, I can't have that come back on me. She's like, I just want to be done. I'd rather pay. She's like, I'd rather lose money now than have to deal with this ever again. I'm like, okay, so let's put a performance deed in there. And the performance deed it has instructions lined out in it. It's not just a typical performance deed. There's instructions attached, and the instructions say, and I showed her these. I showed her the paperwork. It says that if we stop paying or 30 days late, you could call and execute this performance deed, and boom, the house is yours. There's no foreclosure process, and we've paid down the mortgage. You can just resell it, and you'll be okay. And you get to keep the $20K put in your pocket.
Yeah,
so that's your best case scenario.
Yeah.
She was
and
like,
don't go sending Vinny to my house.
We ended up locking it up over text.
Oh, nice.
Like, late at night, she wanted to go with somebody else's offer, and I'm like, well, what if I told you I could keep your tenant in place? She was like, you really could? I said, if I have to get rid of him, I'll give him 90 days. Okay, send the paperwork. And that was it.
Wow, that's awesome. So using those third-party stories and a superior transparency with the agreements that demonstrate protection for her, but you also pro-offered the pain she could run into. You basically pro-offered the biggest objection, and that's so powerful because you're basically shooting the objection before it even arises in her mind.
You have to. The reason you have to is because let's say, I have sellers they don't have questions. They're not worried, like, a lot, which is surprising. They're just, like, ready to go because they have that much pain. But I still do this to this day with every single seller. I'm always going to bring up these problems. And maybe that's just a rookie move on my end. But the reason I do it is that what I don't want to see happen is the deal fall apart while we're in escrow and me have to pursue the deal in other ways, or have to decide that it's just not worth it and walk away. And that's I don't want that to happen. So we tackle these problems now so we don't come deal with them down the road when people have put hours and hours of time and money and EMDs and
right
trying to protect them and myself and my partners.
I love that. And are you seeing the comments? Are you able to see the comments here?
I am. Syed is repping the chat. Yes, I bought that with Syed. Syed funded the deal. He's my partner on the deal. He's taken my late night calls when I couldn't figure out how to change the locks, and everything. We had a dog stuck up in the bathroom after a squatter left. It was crazy.
Oh boy. So here I want to go back to our headline here, buying 15 houses. What is that going to mean to you in terms of cash flow? I'm sure you have an estimate in your mind. Most people have an estimate they want to be bringing it in per door. Some people say, 500 per door, 300 per door, 200 per door, 1,000 per door.
Right.
What does that basically represent as monthly income to yourself? I know you've got multiple partners and whatnot, but what will 15 houses represent in terms of monthly income to you?
So the way I calculate it is that I want each house to be making a minimum of $325 a month that I can keep, right?
Right.
If it's like really low and I can only make 325 net per month, I'm typically not going to try to offer equity. I'm going to try to find somebody that's not interested in that and is very not savvy, that can come kind of lend that money to the table. They don't want to be bothered with it or learn it. My equity partners usually have more involvement than your typical investor that doesn't want to have any involvement, doesn't have any equity.
Got it.
So for me, I'm reverse engineering it where my goal is 30 houses by the end of the year, right? And at $325 minimum per house, you're going to make at least a $10,000 net a month.
Okay.
So I'm reverse engineering. We got half a year left, and I've already got two. Technically, 3 doors if you include, because it's a duplex, but and then another 10 lined up.
So it seems like your main business model is buy and hold creative deals with low entry fees, that cash flow. Have I got it?
Yeah, that's for as a buyer. Yes, that is my strategy right now, because for me, being new in the game, not having a ton of leverage, I leverage the fact that I can find and negotiate these deals, unlike a lot of people, and they're local to me, so I can manage it. I know the people in the area. I can get the cleaners. I can get the people to cut the lawns. I can show up to the property if I need to. Right. So that's my strategy for now. I don't have a doubt in my mind that we're going to hit it. So very exciting.
I love that. And then you pair that with the partnerships with other buyers and financiers and private money, and it's kind of unstoppable, right? You've got the deal finder, you've got the property management, and you've got the cash providers. Is that right?
Yeah. So I do all the property management.
Yeah.
Wow. I was just going to ask you, like, what kind of relationship do you have with the property manager? Describe that, but you do all of it yourself. Wow.
Yeah, but I plan to make it really easy.
Okay. Tell us about that.
So just one of the things I did to level up and step that up was I purchased Rent Ready. It's like an application, like property management application. Was able to get a half off, spend like $50 for a whole year. So I was like, booyah. And all I have to do from there is they can submit their maintenance requests, and I can just call the maintenance guy and, hey, this one needs to be done. It's emergency. We work on the emergency, but it's pretty straightforward. It just makes it a lot easier. Everything's streamlined. Everybody pays in the same place. All the reports come in from the same way. There's really nothing to be stressed out about. Like, you don't have to worry about issues coming in from left and right. And I can kind of separate myself as a property manager because I have that running. The goal is well, if we have 30 houses, there's no way I'm going to do that by myself. Once we reach about 5 to 10, that's when I'm actually going to hire an individual to work part-time. They don't need to work full-time. Just work part-time running the app.
Wow. I haven't even heard of that. Rent Ready. That's nice. I like that idea.
So for me, the nice thing is now my war chest is way more geared towards problems rather than, only 5% of it really gets saved. I get that full 15%.
Nice.
Love it. Are you doing some wholesaling and fix and flipping as well? Or what's that look like? Because you're generating a lot of leads for your own buy and hold.
That's a great question. So I am doing both. I am doing fix and flips with my awesome flip team. We call ourselves Cleveland Flip Mode. That's Syed is one of the members of that. We kind of are the founders of the group. That's been awesome, a great learning experience, stressful. It's been an absolute blast though. So I can't complain at all. Tons of learning lessons. And now I'm actually the official project manager of that company, I guess you could say. So I'm handling the coordinating with a general contractor he's an astro flipping student. He's awesome, Marvin.
Nice.
And we just get it all done. Just call the people and just make it happen. So been a fun learning experience there as well. But wholesales are really that's my jam, man. It's my favorite. We got an awesome team. I don't pay any of them hourly. It is all a commission-based operation. The way that even happened, because that's the number one question I get, guys, is how do you have an operation? Like how are you paying these guys? Like how are you able to be on the phone with me for 2 hours mentoring me with all that going on? I'm like, well, it's simple. I'm like, I got great people. So what I did was I go on these challenges.
Yeah, you're gonna break it down the like nitty gritty for us, right?
Oh yeah. It's real easy. You guys know Pace Morby, right?
Absolutely.
Jamil Damji.
I've heard of them.
Come on. So they're awesome. They do awesome challenges. You guys ever see, like, they just did the Secret Agent Challenge 2.0?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So anybody can do this. Anybody can do this. You go to the challenge, you network. That's it. You just network. Hey, I'm killing it in this market. Let's hang out. Let's be friends. Let's be buddies. You know how many newbies are in there that are hungry? So one of my guys, Sean, he's amazing. He was in the comments right there. And he actually, we met in the first Secret Agent Challenge back in, I think it was in December or January. And I was just doing that. I was just pretty much spamming every 5 minutes. I just dropped my contact info, copy and pasted. I love Jamil. I wasn't really in for the challenge because that's just not my cup of tea, is calling agents. But
gotcha.
It was a chance to network. So in there, he reaches out, we connect, end up working on a few deals with him, and we create this system where all his hot leads he's sending over to my company, and we're handling them, right? And we just build this awesome relationship over time where we're talking every day and we're working on stuff every day. And he's like, dude, can I please be part of your team? So I've been doing this for 2 years and I haven't gotten traction yet. Please let me be part of your team. So brought him a part of the team. He made his first wholesale check. I think it was in March or April, $4,000 or somewhere between there. And that's it. So the real question is how did I get him to stay?
Yeah. Seriously. That's one thing, is like you teach them, and then what keeps them from just like ripping it off and going, and then you have this constant churn of finding and retraining and keeping people.
That is
what's your answer to
challenge that? Is that training is a time suck. It feels like sometimes. So what happens is you have to be a leader, right? You have to lead with value. You have to constantly, like, I ask people all the time, like, well, what's your vision? They'll say, oh, well, I want to do this. I want to do that. I don't have all these things. I'm like, okay. I'm like, now take that vision and figure out how it benefits anybody else besides yourself.
Yeah.
Right. How does it benefit the people around you? And when you can bring people in to your team and you can sell them the vision and you can uplift them and turn them into leaders and turn them into badasses and make them confident, make them believe in themselves. That's you got them for life, man. Sean is like my best buddy now, like we're always trying to figure stuff out, learn and grow. And it's very exciting. We want to start a podcast together is the next step. Right.
Nice.
There you go.
But just leading with value, just saying, hey, how can I give to you? Right. He started off the year, just be like, I just need to get a deal done. And I'm like, that's the problem, is that's all you can think about. Like, stop worrying about getting a deal done. Start thinking about how am I going to help these poor people?
Absolutely.
All these people got so many problems, and you're thinking about how am I going to get a check? What it does is it puts pressure on you. When you talk, the way you talk is going to be different. You don't have confidence. You have desperation in your voice. You're going to do anything to make the deal work. And I was there, right? And I did do things to make any deal work, right? And no matter what I could, because it needed to happen. It had to happen. But once you get past that and you get the confidence, go, oh, I've got the proof of concept. I know how this stuff works. I know that I can do this. Me, little old me. Things start changing. Once that mindset changes, it's crazy. I truly believe. I mean, this thing is all mindset knowledge. I mean, really, mindset knowledge and being visible.
I got to jump in there. First of all, I think it's fantastic. I got to give you massive kudos for figuring this stuff out at 22. I'm 42.
Seriously.
I'm still figuring out a lot of the elements of leadership that are required to run and operate a real estate business. So I think you're gonna crush it tremendously in the next 10 years. You'll probably be able to retire in the next 5 if you want to. But yeah, I don't think you'll be the kind of guy that just wants to go collect sand shells on the beach. I think you're going to be out there solving problems and having fun.
No.
However, what I want to know is what ways have your mind been transformed as you've gone on this journey, and even starting your own business from did you have a W-2 before this?
Oh yeah in the steel industry. It was
Really?
it was actually used to eat at me every day. I would tell my my wife before we were married, I'm wasting my talents. I'm not supposed to be here, this stuff is draining me. It really was. And it was always fighting every week to make sure that you could eat. I lost so much weight working at a W-2 because I couldn't afford to eat. That's crazy. Making decent money too, but there's so many different expenses out there. I mean, daycare was my biggest one. I would have to send my kid to daycare to go to work. It was $300 or so a week. That was eating up half my income right there, So going from the mindset of going I didn't think that I was going to be able to amount to anything, right? I always had the drive and the strive. I used to make YouTube videos when I was a kid and think, okay, I'll be able to entertain people and give people joy that way, and I'll be able to make a living off of it. And then I didn't do that. And then, I was like, okay, well, when I was in the restaurant industry, I was like, all right, well, I'll own the store. And then that didn't happen. And it was always just, where's it ever going to make sense or fit in? And we're gonna get out of this mindset where it's like, I gotta essentially cheat people to survive, right? I'm gonna have to take the shirt off my brother's back just to make it another day. And it was terrible. I'd definitely been beaten down. I mean, there was a time where I was sleeping on the floor and I didn't have nothing. Not too long ago. All I had was a bed for my kid, his crib, and some toys for him, and the food I could get from the food bank down the street, and just trying to catch up, trying to get things right. And you make mistakes, I'm young. I know I made tons and tons and tons and tons of mistakes. I still do all the time. It's just never thinking you can get there. And I tried some things. I tried affiliate marketing, and I didn't feel good about it. And so I couldn't do that, but then it just dug me a deeper hole, took out a loan for $5,000 to make it work. And then, get in the program. And then, you end up being, this isn't ethical. I can't do this. And now you're like, another hole to dig myself out of. Yeah, man, I was in a very depressed state for a while, and I always had to hustle. I'd wake up at 4 a.m. I'd try to learn something new on what I could do to change my life. But then it'd be like, it's just an empty barrel, every time. And, going into working that job and learning about creative finance and learning about, oh my gosh, I can it's a proven math. It's just math. 1 + 1 = 2. If anybody can do this, I can do this. And then getting into it and going, okay, well, let me quit my job. Never done a deal before. Let me quit my job. And, let me change our lives. Let me try, because we were spending more money on daycare than we were making.
Wow.
So I quit the W-2 as soon as we got into our home and started working hard. My wife was still pregnant, and hired some VAs and just started failing, Wow. But it made me realize, I was like, oh no, I got to wake up every day and I got to train these people. I've got to wake up every day and I got to get them excited. I've got to start waking up at 3. I got to start waking up at 2. I got to get stuff done while everybody's sleeping. Oh man, I don't know what I'm doing. I still got one of my first seller calls recorded, and at the end you can see me pumping my fists up in the air. I'm like, yes. Because I was so excited that he just heard my idea and didn't tell me to F off, and he was kind of into it. The lead's still in our CRM. He's not converted. He's not converted. It's not a great deal, but it's cool to see those. So you know, I don't know, the watching the change, it's just such a huge like scarcity mindset to such an abundant mindset. Like all I see now is like,
what are you doing? Are you doing something different to get there, or is it just happening because you're jumping off the cliff and learning to fly as you fall down? What are you doing to participate in that?
So I view my time as everything I do is an exchange of something, right? I'm exchanging energy. So when I talk to people, when I meet people, when I'm around people, even if I don't know them, I'm exchanging energy with them. And I know that if I can give them the right energy is going to come back to me in some way, shape, or form, right?
Okay.
So I believe that's going to come back to me in buttloads amounts of money, right? To fund my life and to take care of my family and to take care of all the things that I want to do in the future. So I know that if I'm going to get on a call with one guy that wants advice out of nowhere, I don't know his name, I don't know him from anything, let's hop on the phone. I'm going to hop on the phone. We're going to talk. We're going to get to know each other. And it's like an invisible string, right? There's this invisible string that happens where I meet Syed and then we build this relationship. We start building this momentum together, and that invisible string gets tied over to Sean, and then Sean gets connected with me. Now he's got the invisible string, and so does Syed, right? And now they're getting tied into other people, and I'm using their experiences and our momentum together to tie in with other people, and I'm building. All these things are connected. They all play off of each other. I couldn't have B without A. I couldn't have my peanut butter without my jelly. It all goes together. It all plays off of each other. It's really cool to see. Like we just partnered up with a cold call center, which is massive. We got 10 cold callers at our side at no cost, like that in a day. It's huge, and it's all because of how awesome my team talks about me. Santino, he was the one that just put it out there. He's like, hey guys, I run a boots on the ground service in Cleveland, and I can do all these things for you. And he's like, you know what? Also, because I always tell him, I'm like, leverage me. I'm like, say that you're doing these flips. Say that you can do creative deals. Say that you can do dispo. Even if you can't, we can. We're a team. We're a group. So leverage me. You've been in this game for a long time. Use our experience. So he puts it out there. We can dispo. We can do creative financing. We can negotiate. We can do your follow-ups. We'll get on Zoom with you and hang out. We'll do whatever you need. And then that sparked people's interest. And they're like, whoa, wait, what's going on? And it's just so cool what you give into people and what you make them believe, and make them believe in themselves, make them believe in the vision. And then they just start changing their conversations. That's why I love affirmations. A lot of people believe affirmations is you're connecting with the universe. And I think part of it is, essentially like an energy exchange, right? What we put out, the energy we put out is essentially going to come back to us. They've taken, I don't know what the camera's called. There's these special cameras. They've taken pictures of a hand, and they could see there's energy flowing through the hand. They took a picture of a leaf, and they could see the energy flowing through the leaf. So we know energy's there. We know it's real, and it's in every living thing. So if I'm speaking out, I'm going to be a great father. I know I am a great father. I am a great leader. I'm a gentle leader. I'm giving back to my community. Gentle. I'm making a positive impact in my digital and my physical community. That's one of them. If I'm saying these things, even if there is no universe or energy involved, what I'm doing is I'm changing my feelings. I've changed my feelings now, because my feelings used to be depressed and hurt and not making it by and not making enough and not being good enough. Now my feelings are, I am good enough. I am a good leader. I am strong. I can do this. I am a real estate investor. That's so many people struggle with, is like, I'm not really an investor. I'm just learning it. I don't really know what I'm doing. And I am an investor. Now my feelings have changed. What's going to happen? My conversations are going to change. I'm going to start getting on podcasts, right? Talking about these things that I'm speaking in the morning when nobody can hear me. Right.
Yeah.
And now, because my conversations are changing, my network is changing, the people that I meet are changing, the things that they want to talk to me about are changing. It's not going to be just about the good old times now. It's going to be about the good old future that we're going to get. But if I never changed the way I felt, those conversations would have changed. The actions I take wouldn't have changed. And thus my results change. So I love affirmations. So that's a way to thump it for all the people that hate horoscopes and energy. It's just math, guys. It's just math. Just change your feelings. What's going to follow?
I love the stones you put across the stream so that we could get from where you started to where you are now. And it's not like woo woo or magic. It's there's probably plenty of things we don't understand about the universe and our own bodies and how our minds work and how like energy transfers and all that. I certainly don't understand it all. But when you decide whether it's, you hit the bottom or life circumstance, you're going, something's got to change. It's might as well be me. There's not someone coming to rescue me with a boat. Like, I got to do something. My kids got to eat. So thank you for sharing that, by the way. And you just decided, okay, I'm going to do these things differently. What I love is you didn't know all the things that were coming when you made that decision. And you didn't have to. They still came. You took one big step and then you added to that. I think that's a mystery that some people believe, or a falsehood that some people think is they look for a silver bullet. They go and they buy this course, they go and they invest in this thing, and they think that's going to solve all the problems. It's not. It's up here. It's the space between their ears that's going to solve most of the problems. And it starts by taking massive action in one area, not all of them. And then you add to it, just like math. You start with one principle, you learn it well, then you add another principle, and then pretty soon you're doing long division or whatever. It's like
Amen.
Second grade. But I love that you don't, and I think that needs to be heard clearly, is you don't have to know all the steps to take the first one, right?
Amen.
Like, it will come. I love seeing that in your story. That's a beautiful thing, man. And freaking at 22, like, it blows me away. The whole thing I've been thinking this whole time is like, he's 22. How the hell is he 22? Like, I mean, that's 20 years of learning that you've compressed in 4 or 5 years. Like,
literally, not even. And that's the thing I think about too is like, I think everybody wants it to happen fast. Everybody's so sick of the place that they're in, how miserable they are. I mean, I think most people are miserable. That's why there's gossip, and that's why there's I can't stand this job. That's why there's clocking out early, and that's why most people are miserable and they want a quick solution. They see all these quick solutions around us. People making it big off of Dogecoin and Bitcoin, and somebody did a wholesale transaction their first week for $200,000, and I want a quick fix. But it's not going to happen. And I look back and I'm like, I haven't had a quick fix either. And sometimes I have a hard time celebrating, but sometimes I have a hard time realizing, like, it's been a journey. It has been a road, right? Like, a lot has happened between A and B, and it took me being at work every day with an AirPod in my ear, with my head down, doing my work and learning. I would just listen to Pace's seller calls all day so I could recite them, right? Like, it was just focused.
While you were at your W-2 or
While
after you
I was
had
at my
jumped ship?
W2.
Yeah.
For 6 months, I was there, just head down.
Soaking it in.
I think
that's good.
I think that's good. I think it's worth pointing out there, even if it's not a perfect formula, if somebody is going to jump from their W-2, maybe that's at least something they could learn from you is go to YouTube University or something university, get in one of these masterminds for a few months and soak it in, be around it, get your mind transformed, see it done multiple times. I love that fact. Jerry Norton records a lot of his seller and agent calls as well. And that was pretty transformative for me. And so we've been doing that as well as helping that next generation by just documenting actual calls. I think once you've seen actual calls, not just somebody saying this is what you should do on a call, that can completely change your mind.
It's absolutely. I totally agree. You get a lot of people now that try to deliver a lot of fluff and say, oh, well, here's different examples of things you could do. It's like, no, man, show me the real stuff. Show me what's really happening. I want to hear you fail. Like, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear a bad call. I want to hear something go bad, so I know what's going to happen. Because people are scared of getting yelled at and cussed at. People are scared of rejection mostly. I mean, that's what you learn, and that's what I learned. I always learn is like if I don't call sellers for a while because I'm working on all these other things, and I'm like, oh, they're like, hey, we need you to do some creative stuff. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to call them. I don't want to call them. They seem kind of grumpy. I don't want
They're
to,
going to yell at me, and they're not going to like my ideas.
I don't want to do
No.
that. But then you call them and you got to fight with yourself to call them. You get on the phone and they're like, sold. I was like, I've never sold a guy in my first call. This is crazy. But I was just scared, and it's interesting how we have that battle of like we want to avoid the thing that's going to be the best thing for us.
And then you end up in a position like Tiny's been in this week, where he's inviting one of his sellers over for barbecue.
Right?
He doesn't even have the walls painted yet.
It's
still in the box.
It is what it is. It's been so cool though. Like you were talking about the pain that people are in. Like in this business, that's something that's becoming so apparent to me. Like if you don't genuinely care about other people, like this isn't for you. Well, at least the way I'm doing it, or the word we're doing it, we meet people where they're at, and they're really hardship sometimes. Not always. Sometimes it's a convenience thing, but a lot of times, people's lives are falling apart or have fallen apart. And my gosh, it's heart-wrenching what someone's going through. And so, it was actually my wife's idea. She was like, well, invite her over for dinner. Like on Saturday, it was her anniversary, but her husband passed away a year ago. And so it was the first time she was celebrating an anniversary without her husband. And, that's awful, just awful. And so, these people need love and they need help. And like we all do. So it was an honor.
And that's what I preach to the team. Like you guys are doing a disservice to these people by being scared to ask them questions.
Yep.
You're doing them a disservice by being scared to get personal.
Yep.
Because that's a big thing with this generation, my generation, is like being afraid of offending people and being afraid of crossing boundaries and hurting people's feelings. Because that's all my generation has is feelings. They don't have a lot of real problems. It feels like. I got lucky to go through it real fast. But I'm like, listen, you're doing them a disservice. I'm like, right now, after that kick in the butt, we're helping out this wonderful lady. Her name's Dawn. She's about to lose her house pretty much. And she can barely walk. Right. She has to have somebody with her all the time to help her do laundry, to help her with, just getting anything done. She's got she's got her laundry rooms in the basement. So she can't live by herself. She has no independence, and she's got no drive to move forward. So just through getting personal and getting in there and being able to ask the tough questions, because it's a hard thing to go through foreclosure. It's a hard thing to go through hard things in life. We don't want to tell anybody that we're going through. We have pride. We want to at least still kind of feel good about ourselves. But if you can't ask these right questions and be personal and be loving and caring and actually be like, well, I'm here to help you. And you're going to be scared. People like that won't ever get help, and they're going to end up on the street or living with their daughter or their son, and now just feeling, humiliated, and it's no life. Right. So it feels so good to be able to go, hey, if you just get over your damn self and just start asking questions and stop being afraid of everything, you're actually going to change some lives.
Yeah.
I love that.
Get out of your own way.
It's Syed. He gives you some kudos. He says he loves your ability to stay positive all the time. He says we're doing more and more business. Can't wait to see my guy grow. Which I love that. Something else that you're saying there is reminding me of one of my favorite current YouTubers and thought leaders, and his name is Dr. Jordan Peterson, clinical psychologist. And one of the biggest things I've learned from him is that in his practice, he doesn't just listen to his clients. And I think that a lot of times in distressed real estate, your clients are you kind of do play the role of the clinical psychologist sometimes. But he doesn't just listen to them. He listens very deeply, but then he also doesn't hesitate to tell them the truth as he perceives it. And this is huge for any of us who come from people-pleasing backgrounds, or even if you were ever trained in some form of sales where it was basically just agree with them all the time. I'm not saying you got to go in and be abrasive, but there is something really powerful when two people talk together and they deeply hear each other and they deeply say the truth as they see it to the best of their ability to one another. Have you ever experienced that?
That's how you show someone you really care about them. You know, I could give fluff and tell someone, oh, it's all right. Oh, well, you know, I guess you're doing it. That's how you know I don't care, right? If I care, I'm going to lay it out to you straight. I'm like, listen, this is what you're doing wrong. This is what you need to be doing. This is what I think is best for you based on the information you've given me. And I'll even ask, like, do you even want my opinion? I'm like, I'm not gonna bother you with it if you don't want it, right? Some people don't. Some people just want to be able to say, hey, I messed up. Hey, I'm sad. Hey, this is hard. They don't want you to fix it. They don't want advice, and that's okay. You got to be able to know, like, hey, are you actually open to this? So I'm going to tell you the reality of it from what I've seen, what I know. I mean, you came to me. But not, I mean, it's what people need. I don't want, you know, I couldn't imagine if somebody was just telling me what I wanted to hear. I don't want to be told what I want to hear. I want to make stuff happen. You know, I want to progress. I want to advance. I want to do dope shit. And I want to make big changes in the world and in my life and in others' lives. I want to elevate, you know, always elevate. So, you got it. I love Jordan Peterson. You always got to deliver the truth. Always.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. I don't want to miss out on this before we run out of time. You kind of hinted at this at the beginning. If somebody's getting started and they do have a little bit of budget, I'm guessing you would say, well, you tell me, I won't guess what you would say. If they've got a little budget, they've got $500 a month, $1,000 a month, couple $1,000 a month. What would be some of the practical things you would tell a new real estate investor, wholesaler, creative finance person, someone who's looking to buy and hold, someone who's looking to buy maybe just 3 properties this year, no money out of pocket. Maybe they're not as advanced as Mathyus. But what would you tell them would be the first things you would advise them to spend some money on?
I wouldn't advise them to spend their money.
Come on, bring it. What would you tell them?
So for me, it's hard because there's so many. The problem is that people starting out or people that have been in it and not successful, they just want it there. They just want to have it their way. Everybody wants to have it their way. They want to, you know, they want the easy route, or they want to be the boss right away. And I get it. I mean, it makes sense. And you could do that. But you'd have to be very lucky. I would say go drive for deals. Go drive for deals and send me the address. Work with an investor that knows what they're doing. You know, they're everywhere. I mean, you just go to your local real estate association. Go on Facebook and look at a Facebook group. Stop worrying about not knowing anything. You know, a lot of people are going to reject you. A lot of people are going to treat you like crap. But then there's going to be that 1 or 2 guys that are like, yeah, you find an address, send it to us. Sign a JV agreement, please.
Get paid something.
Yeah, but or just ask them, like, hey, I just want to learn, right? Just get around people that know what's going on, people that have that go-giver mentality, that are positive, are a light, and just bring them value. Like, hey, I got a lead. I don't know if it's a lead or not. Just tell me if it isn't, and tell me why it's not, so that I don't do it again. Just be hungry to learn and to be better, and be comfortable being a newbie. Like, be comfortable not knowing what you're doing. It's something that people are very uncomfortable with. People get very uncomfortable, like feeling like, oh, well, you know, maybe I need to know this before I do that, or well, I need to have all. No, just all you need to worry about is, how can I bring anyone value? I can bring just one person value in the space that I want to get involved in. That's going to lead you that one little pebble, that one little step closer to where you want to be. Now, if you want to take a more aggressive approach, I guess, yeah, you could spend your money on lists, and you could call them and not know what you're saying, and and you could maybe hire some VAs like I do and not know how to train them, and you could do all that. But I would say just learn how to generate leads. Go drive for dollars. Go look for a roof that looks broken, weeds that aren't cut, looks like nobody's been home in a long time. Go on Zillow. Zoom in on it. You can hit current location. You zoom in on it, tap it, hit save, and make a tag that says driving for deals. Fill that up. You don't got to pay for anything. Fill it up, and then just screenshot it and send it to an investor. You know, go find them online. My email will be in the chat here. My Instagram is in there. We'll handle them for you. We've got an awesome team that would love to start cold calling these people and pulling the list. We'll skip trace it ourselves. We'll call them. We'll put our manpower to the test. And then if you ever have any questions about it along the way, you know, we're happy to answer them. Happy to keep you involved. My goal is I want to have a like a really, really, really super cool JV platform where you can actually dive into the CRM and you can be in our CRM and interact with us, see what's going on, listen to the call live. We're not there yet. It's just, the coding and the making it actually happen within the app, but it is coming.
Cool
That is my goal. I think it would be really awesome. It takes all the problems that happen in JV companies away by giving full transparency and training, because that's what people want. They want to learn. That's why they JV. They don't know what they're doing. So if you can create an environment where they can learn, grow, and earn, you're gonna be booming.
That's
Mathyus,
fantastic.
you definitely gotta pull the trigger on your podcast idea.
I know. It's reinvest yourself. You guys go follow me. I got the banner up already.
Nice.
Just Mathyus Holden all day. I make it really
awesome
easy
on
people.
Insta. Perfect. And if they want to reach out, if they've got a deal in primarily Ohio market,
primarily, the Cleveland area, right? Cleveland is just like a cluster of cities that think they're Cleveland. But then I'm happy to negotiate and close a seller anywhere. I'm happy to help out anywhere. My team's happy to follow up. Pretty much anywhere we can provide value and help people grow. We're here to do it. We're here to do it. We've got the manpower, we've got the love and the drive for it, and we just love what we do. So
I dig
love
it.
that.
I get you 0% financing. You can't beat that.
That's kind of incredible. I mean, really.
Especially today. Yep. So if you guys have got a lead in Cleveland or in the Cleveland area, series of cities around there, make sure you squat up with Mathyus, and he'll get your back. He'll teach you everything he's got. He's on Instagram at Mathyus Holden, MathyusHolden. For those of you who are listening, not watching on YouTube. Tiny, you got any more questions for Mathyus? This has been so good, bro. You've dropped so many diamonds on this. I think I just want to review. Maybe Tiny, you could do it. What if you had to review the top 3 salient diamonds that this man brought today? What would you point to?
Dude, I love.
Hey, little family there.
Am I? Oh, what's up, little dude?
Papa love.
I would say, like, not being scared about being newbie, just being humble and going and taking an action, bringing value. It's not. What is it when they tried to make gold out of like rocks? Alchemy. You're not just gonna like,
alchemy,
hey, this is magically valuable. You need to go create value. So have some humility, learn, spend some time if you're in your W-2, spend some time educating yourself for free. Don't spend money. Go drive for dollars. Bring someone value, and then learn. Be curious. Say, hey, I don't know everything. I'm new, but I want to learn, and I see you doing this. Let me serve you, bring you value, and I want to learn from you. I think that's genius. Huge takeaway was, for me, take action. That's an example, like we just talked about, of doing it. If you're unsatisfied with where you're at, you don't have to stay there. You don't have to be broke. You don't have to be depressed. You also don't have to know the whole road to your final solution, but you got to get started. And then a third one, gosh, I would say being focused on bringing value to your customer and knowing who they are, while also having the guts to lead, which is scary. Committing to people is scary. But then commission-based, there was a lot of nuggets. Commission-based, and then leading your team with calling them out and saying, hey, don't be afraid. You're doing them a disservice if you are fearful, because they need your help, and really owning that conviction. I love that. Making connections. I mean, there's so many nuggets on this one. This is going to be easy to chop up, and I love it. Dude, thank you so much. Really appreciate you being here for us.
Dude, it's been a blast. You helped me get over my fear, right? Of being live. I hate going live, and like I'm live on Instagram right now and just trying to get out of my comfort zone. So I love it. I appreciate y'all.
Attaboy. Good job.
Absolutely. So if you guys are listening in on YouTube, you can get the Tiny and Nate podcast, where we interview interesting people that are documenting their journeys in real estate investing. Again, I mean, Mathyus started his journey probably 2020 in earnest, even within the last less than a year. Similar with Tiny and I, and by taking massive action, we are transforming our lives, and so that we can live a life of impact and joy. That's what we want for you guys too. So go to all the places where you can get get a podcast, or you can follow us on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe here at Tiny and Nate, and make sure you guys go follow Mathyus Holden at Mathyus Holden at Instagram, and we'll be watching, bro. Make sure you ping us as soon as you get that podcast up and running. We'll come join you, rep you.
Let's do it. We
Love
gotta
it.
do a crossover episode.
All right, bro.
Comment
See you
below
on the
if you
next
guys
one,
want me
you
to
guys.
come back.
That's right.
That's right.
We'll have you
see-
back.
see you on-
We'll do a check-in 6 months. See how you're doing.
Let's do it.
Peace,
Awesome.
guys.